what is Euro? Euro is a federation of operational research societies all over Europe. I suppose everybody knows what operational research is. If you do decision support and decision science related research, you know what operational research is. There are 29 operational research societies in Europe which are members of IFOS, which is the International Federation, and they all aggregate in a federation which goes under the name of Euro. And if we had a web connection, we could go on the site.
You do have a web connection.
So you can go on www.
Should it work?
Yep, it will work. Sure.
Euro online, Euro-online.org, and you click on any of the logos and you go inside. There is a random generation of the welcome in the 29 languages of the 29 societies when you go on the site. So this is Euro. What does Euro? Well, it does what usually do the scientific societies. It promotes its discipline, no, to any type of aspects. Euro is a wealthy society. It has an annual budget of 150,000 euros, mainly generated by royalties and memberships, and it spends this budget in promotion. Now, one of the subjects it promotes are awards, and one of the awards the Euro gives is the Management Science Scientific Innovation Prize. This is a prize which is 50,000 euros every 2 years only, on 3. And it is announced 3 years before the subject. As you see, you are on the site. So there is a prize in 2004, this year, which will be given at the Euro conference in Rhodes, and the next one will be in 2006. And as you see, it has been announced already in 2003. The subject of this prize for 2006 is humanitarian security, and this is why I'm here, basically. What does it mean? It means that everybody who does research on a subject like this one, whatever he does from here until 2006, it is eligible to be awarded. You send your paper, your PhD, your software, your whatever you have realized under the call for applications, and you qualify for the prize. And there is an international committee which is perhaps a little bit which in any case the president is Giorgio Gallo from University of Pisa in Italy, who is also the director of the Center of Peace Studies in Pisa, who evaluates the applications, and you can gain 15,000 euros, which is quite a good price, mainly if you give them to your PhD student who did the work.
Thank you for your suggestion there, Alexis. Okay, thank you.
Now, my last word is why we decided to put the prize on humanitarian security. Well, because we think it is one of the biggest challenges of our discipline. And perhaps if we have some time, I will explain why.
Maybe we come back on it. If you have, as you have seen in the program, we had this morning a keynote speaker on this topic, and I think, but he had to catch his plane to Geneva, so he probably already left. Mr. Monar, I would be grateful if you could shortly comment on the cost action. As I said, it's a European initiative.
Yes, well, let's follow the same procedure and also start from a web page. You replace www by COST, cost, and then you go on CORDIS, which is Cordis, probably known to many of you, .lu. And then you arrive, or you should arrive immediately in the cost website. Now, what is cost? Cost is not about funding research. Cost is about promoting networking. Networking of research that is financed by national funds or governments or even industry. And cost has been operating since 1970. There are about 160 cost actions. That's the jargon of cost. They call the networks cost actions. Running about 160. That's a stable number for about 5 years now. That means that every year as many new actions are launched as there are that finish. Normally a duration of a cost action is 4 to 5 years. What does cost provide as possibilities, as instruments for networking? The main features are that you need at least 5 member countries. Now there are 34 European countries who are members of COST, so the large majority of the European countries are members. You need at least 5 participants from 5 different countries to start an action. But once an action is accepted, all countries can join and can appoint a participant. There can also be participants from non-cost countries, but they come on top of the minimum requirements. COST has activities in a number of domains, but we are not going into the details, but you see domains and TC is about, you can see it's a lot of them. Some are combined with other ones. You have to the left side the domains and to the right side technical committees. The technical committees, they are very important. If you want to propose a cost action, this will be examined by one of these technical committees, and they will select the best ones, because there is some selectivity introduced into the scheme, because with the available means we only can have about this amount of actions to fund. The main instruments are organizing the meetings, short-time scientific missions for researchers from one participating team to another participating team, few weeks, publications, and I think these are the major issues that can be funded. So I'm available for answering some questions, maybe during the drink. But I recommend that those who want to introduce a cost action go and have an explore this site. Everything is available, including the documents needed to propose actions.
Thank you. So maybe just before we switch to the next speaker, maybe just quickly this. I already spoke to some of you in relation to this cost action. We do have 3 countries that at this point are certainly interested in doing it, which is Belgium, Holland, and Finland. This doesn't mean that I have everybody from Holland and everybody from Finland, so feel free to, I ask you to join us in this. I think it's really one of the ways that we can get started. It's not the big money, it's not, it doesn't cover everything, but at least it will allow us to send our PhD students from one place to another, or go ourselves from one place to another, and to organize meetings. I do have one very practical question. Do you think we would fit in the telecommunications, information science and technology domain, as this is about information systems.
Yes.
But as we've seen from the many presentations here, it's not only about pure technology. It's much more than that. It's about social impact, relational.
My estimate is that it would probably fit best in the social sciences and humanities.
Would they then be
domain.
too technical? Because then we have.
Well, there are in that area, and you can explore the actions that are running in both domains on this website. There are some actions that have some technological approach as well, while in the telecommunications, information, science and society, it's rather exclusively technological.
What are then these interdisciplinary ad hoc working groups? Because this is definitely interdisciplinary what we're doing here these 2 days.
Yes, these the interdisciplinary ad hoc working groups, of which both are in fact terminated in certain ways. But continue in another way. They are temporary, and they are, let's say, decided not through the normal system, but they are decided at the political level by the Committee of Senior Officials. So that must be a very important issue. We have once considered the whole of security research. We have examined it and examined whether it would be appropriate for COST to launch an activity in that broad domain, but it was not accepted as such. So I think that probably, as far as I have understood the area in which you are all working, it would probably fit best if you want to have it in COST within the social science and the humanities.
Okay, thank you. Maybe the third speaker, who is Liam Kool-Jansen, who I have a presentation here. I will upload it.
Yes, and maybe come over there then to...
Please.
Yeah.
Should have done this already. Is it a non-linear time model? Thank you. Some free advertising.
Should be on the dispute.
I just copied it.
Yeah.
That's your discount. Thank you for explaining this to me. You were too silent to be there. What is the remote?
This is a big problem with all decision science, with all decision theory research. There is no place in the organization. They very often invite us to submit our social sciences just to be rejected because we're not social scientists.
That's the danger, of course.
It's the danger, is what happens.
Good afternoon. I'll try to be short. As a different to what we have been listening earlier today, I wasn't here yesterday, so I can't judge yesterday. We have seen that there's a lot of solutions that have been offered as to how address specific areas of crisis management and emergency response. Our approach has been maybe completely different from the industry side, and in this respect that we have actually contributed a lot to the European Commission on the preparatory action on security, on which Mr. De Vries will speak in a couple of minutes, and also in view of a European security program, security research programs as from 2007 onwards. We feel that despite all the work that is being done today, there is very little done, and a lot of research is required in order to optimize crisis management, security handling, etc. in general, prevention of action, etc. So our approach has been, on the contrary, not looking from what has been achieved already, but what needs to be done in order to enhance security in Europe. Just put it briefly, I will be very brief on this one, on EU and security. There has been a lot of initiatives lately that demonstrate that the European Union is undertaking significant action in the security field. First of all, at the political level, there has been a document provided by Solana, A Secure Europe in a Better World, focusing on different aspects of security. The idea was starting from a non-proliferation concept, like weapons of mass destruction, etc., leading to EU operations other than war, peace missions, so external security missions, to protection against terrorist threats, so homeland security concepts as well. The European Commission has set up a group of personalities with drawing people from the institutions, as well as from the member states, as well as from industry, research institutes, etc. And they drew up a report, Research for Secure Europe. And this report is recommending to develop a European security research program, fully fledged, with a significant budget, as from 2007 onwards. And also to establish a security research advisory board to bring the different stakeholders together, as to draw together up the lines of actions that are required, and to prepare a strategic research agenda in order to optimize and improve on the capabilities, security capabilities in Europe. To prepare this fully fledged program, the European Commission is setting up a preparatory action, which we will come on to a second. When I look at crisis management, or we in industry look at crisis management, we see three levels to be addressed. First of all, and this is something which I've been lacking in the last, in the presentations of today, is I think one of the most important ones is the prevention of the crisis. We need to be aware of the situation, try to improve on protecting the infrastructures, on surveillance, monitoring, etc. And also look at global risk assessment, which is trying to find signs of early warning, where I think also the IT sector has a lot of things to contribute in terms of modeling, and this has not been explored today, so I hope this will be addressed in one of your sessions of future sessions. The preparedness has been addressed today as well, training, modeling and simulation concepts. And then in the crisis management, we have a wide variety of issues to be addressed: organizational structures, operational concepts, inter-organizational, the fact that you deal with different organizations, you deal with different structures, different cultures, different reporting lines. It has this as influence on the decisions, so we need tools and support, and models for decision support, etc.
We had some of this today and yesterday.
This has been very, yes, but I think the prevention of the crisis is something which is extremely important because
if you want to prevent something, you need to understand it first.
Of course, you need to understand it, but there's a lot of things you can do in order, besides just training and the crisis management aspects.
Yeah, understanding.
Yes, yeah. So what have we set up? Industry has been setting up. This is EDIC. I come from the European Defence Industries Group, which is representing the European defence industries of Europe. We have recently merged together with the Aerospace Industries Group, IECMA, and the Space Industries Group, Eurospace, and we are now new ISD. So that I come from the defence side. We have set up this working group to respond to the EC proposals to create a program, a research program on security. So there's two objectives as well as to respond to prepare the industry response to the short-term objective of the preparatory action and a long-term contribution to the fully fledged program in terms of strategic research agenda and identifying those capability areas that need to be addressed in the fully fledged program. In order to do this, the industry working group has set up, established 6 security mission industry groups. SMICs. They are set up around priorities identified by the European Commission, and I will come into detail later. What we are trying to do now is, but this is already a process which is to open up this network and to be an initiative to set up a relevant expertise network in security involving all the different players. We have already many research institutes and research labs in our SMICs. I hope that today we will be able to receive interest from academia. There are some academia already and universities linked into the SMIC network through existing contacts between industry and universities. But we hope to have an open invitation. We send an open invitation to the academia as to join the network. The intention is really to bring all the different players together so that a credible strategy can be elaborated for the individual mission areas that have been set up. What we have done so far is focus mainly on the short-term action. Just quickly, there was a massive response. We have already more than 300 different experts from more than 150 different companies and RTOs. So it is an open networking opportunity. So it's not the intention to limit it to industry, but really to involve the different stakeholders. So we have been mainly looking at short-term objectives, and each of the SMIC areas had received a very concrete task to develop project areas and study areas. I will show the different project areas. These will be available, and if you find that there is some interests in your direct fields of expertise, please feel free to contact me, and I will connect you through with relevant coordinators so that you will be part of the future discussions. So the first SMIC is interoperability and integrated systems for information and communication. Yes. So you see what type of topics are addressed there. SMIC 2 on security and protection of communication and information networks. This is secure networks. Then situation awareness. So these are the areas that have been identified. The protection against terrorism, and then the crisis management. These two project areas and one study area identified. There is one issue which has been touched upon today as well, which has not been directly covered by the communication, and that is there's a lot of jurisdictional issues that need to be addressed. We've also set up a study group to start looking at these projects. In this area will come later, but I think there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed there, and it is for those that are interested, this is also available. So the longer-term objective is, of course, to promote a common approach from the industry, and we hope to be able to do that through the SMICs together with other stakeholders, so that we can contribute to the implementation phase of the fully fledged program in terms of strategic research agenda. So this is in short. If there's questions, please contact me.
Thank you very much. And if there's any immediate reaction, I would suggest that we proceed to the short presentation as well from Mr. De Vries. I will give you this. You have this get over there? Okay, we'll give it a second.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Jan de Vries. I'm working for the Commission, DG Information Society, and I'll want to introduce you the preparatory action on security-related research of the European Commission. The context is in fact the global context that has changed over the last few years within the European Union, within the world in fact. And up to a few years ago, the European Union was only dealing with economic studies and research related to the economy, and it's only recently, and especially after the 9/11 events and also since March, of course, in Madrid, that also other issues become more important, especially related to security. This topic has become a real hot topic within the Commission and also within the European Council. And so this has been really pushing forward the security research within the European framework programs, and also has really put forward a focus on security as such, since security is within the framework program integrated, the 6th framework program. However, it's distributed over a lot of topics, and this initiative, this new initiative, tries to focus the attention towards security. So there are a lot of political issues involved here, but I will not go into these. So a broader view is necessary, and also some introductory comments. I will go on to the preparatory action. It is called a preparatory action because it prepares for something. It prepares for a fully fledged EU security research program starting by 2007. So this preparatory action provides is a research activity, and it will prepare the Commission to launch this larger program. It is additional, and that's essential, to the existing community research efforts, since it is outside of the framework program, so it does not benefit from all the issues that are related to the 6th framework program of the European Commission. Its duration is 3 years. Total budget between 2004 and 2006 is 65 million. However, the budget is allocated on a yearly basis. So for 2004 we have a 50 million budget. For the next year, 2005, it will be 24, and after that it will be 26. But it is up to the decision by the European Parliament. So we plan to, for this 15 million, 13 million will be for proposals. We plan to have some 6 to 8 projects funded, depending on the size of the proposals and the rest, and to also some supporting activity. 2 million will be dedicated to a call for tenders. This call for tenders will be issued later this year, and will be studies specifically on the terms of reference by the Commission. So these 6 to 8 projects, including supporting activities that are mentioned here, will be 75% funded. The topics, well, you've seen this in the previous presentation. Improve situation awareness. This includes also the activities necessary for prevention, security and protection of network systems. This is the critical infrastructures type of studies. Protection against terrorism, bioterrorism, and the nuclear things and whatever is included. Crisis management is of course also an issue, specifically of course in this symposium, and achieve interoperability and integrate systems of various countries, etc. These are the topics. One of the critical things with the projects that we need for this preparatory action is mission-oriented project. That means the end user involved, and this is also a way that it distincts from the 6th framework program, which are more technology oriented. And what is really important also in the outcome, the results of these projects, is that should have tangible results, that the results should be demonstrable for the European Parliament, because the preparatory action also involves a decision by the Parliament on funding a larger research program. Well, these are the first call, the dates for the first call. The publication date was 31st of March. The closing date, the deadline is 23rd of June, 1600 hours Brussels time. That's important for the Commission. Evaluation will be in early July, The feedback proposes early September, and the contract awards will be before the end of this year. All the information concerning the call, the details of will be on this website, also recorded, except for the security. I will leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, the floor is open to questions if you have any. This is a lot of questions. Okay, I will ask them. Maybe a direct question to the European Commission. If you're only going to fund 6 to 8 projects, that means that there will be large projects. We've seen now already a considerable move from the defense industry. Is it your intention to have all these contracts awarded to the defense industry? Is it open to?
No, it's actually it's open to everybody. That is, and I think the criteria which are also within the papers that are on the website, and on the basis of these criteria, all proposals will be evaluated, and these include, of course, the ones that we will get from the IWGS, but also other proposals.
Okay, so you don't have to enter into a SMIC, as you call it?
It's not necessary, no.
But it's one way to...
It's one way to participate, yes.
And is there a minimum size on networks? Is there a minimum requirement on the size?
It's the standard European framework conditions that at least 2 different countries should be represented within one proposal. There's one extra condition concerning the preparatory action, that it is in principle limited to the 25 member states of the European Union. So for formal partners cannot be from outside the Union, only on a very exceptional basis. And the details you can read out.
In that direction, I have a question. If it's an effort from people from the European community to help another country in Asia, and then the research are conducting in Asia, and we need the budget then to work together, can we apply or not?
If you have a partner from Asia and you want to apply that in Asia, it's really depends on the also it should have a value for the European Union. I think that's the basic criteria.
Because many disasters do not happen in Europe in a way. You know what I mean? There is really a lot of research possibilities for those countries, and we often miss the link, and we don't dare to just submit because we think, okay, this is not Europe.
The basic subject that we have is in principle terrorism, and not disaster. Disaster, if it can be funded, and that's another criterion, it should not be able to be funded from the 6th framework, for instance. So it should be exclusive topic which can only be funded by this preparatory action. Only in that case it can be funded by that's the other condition. Yeah.
Natural hazards also.
Natural hazards can also be funded through the 6th framework for a large part.
This is a follow-up to the same question that it's probably for all those of you who just presented. What about US collaborations? If you do have an EU interest in it, does the main player have to be from here? Could be for example, collaborate with Bartel. We've done this with some agencies in Germany, for example, where they did let us do it so long as the primary player was located in Germany and the German interests were being met in some way. Is that a possibility? Because a lot of the work we do is actually on terrorism, like decision making and situational awareness and so on. Where would we fit in if I want to collaborate with
the first remark concerns the funding. The United States will not be able to get funding, so that's point one. And if you want to contribute, then the contribution should be really essential to the project, and only in that case you can participate.
Well, because our system is used extensively in Europe, and in fact we have German and Dutch versions of the system as well. So the professors in, say, University of Mainz or someone, they would pioneer the effort, or Bart would pioneer the effort. Is that something that is doable?
The proposal should be convincing in that your contribution is essential to the proposal. Yes.
along these lines, if we do not fit in this proposal, can you say something about other ways to establish collaboration between US and Europe that is funded for both parts, or does that simply not exist at this point?
In the sixth framework, the United States can be funded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you have.
But because there's agreement with the United States concerning the sixth framework program, and this is not the case for this preparatory action.
Okay.
So.
But I think we are also trying to get additional partners from outside. We do have, for instance, people from Norway and Turkey in our network. The Commission has, under the framework program, specific agreements with a lot of non-EU states, member states, as to do some co-sharing concepts, etc. The people from Norway and the industries from Norway that are involved, that will be involved in, for instance, a thing we are elaborating on the Baltic Sea surveillance, which is logical that we try to involve the Scandinavian countries as well as the Baltic Sea, so the new accession states in that same area. That they know that they will not be funded from the program, but they will then have to start seeing how they can prepare, let's say, the future program, because the future program, the fully fledged program, which will be a significant budget, it is very likely that there will be some reciprocal agreements around these topics. So we actually involve those nations, and they will then have to find the mechanisms as to which are the different areas that they have to address nationally as to secure this reciprocity in the future when the future program once will be established. So it's but here in our case, Norway is essential for the project. So this is one of the criteria that has been set by the Commission. Another, for instance, Israel could be essential if you do something around the Mediterranean. So there is it depends on where you focus your let's say your demonstration, or on which area you want to do some would ask to do some specific research in, and if they concern wider than EU, then it is legitimate that they are playing. For US, I'm sorry, for the moment not a solution, unless I suppose you have you could maybe participate through your European daughter companies or daughter. Yes, in the universities, if you have collaborations running with them, and try to feed in your direct interests through them, through your partners.
We have worked with organizations where they'll say they will pay half if we find a probability of group in the US to fund 50%, they will fund 50%. We've done projects that way too on cost sharing.
Yes. Thank you. I need to move to Hugo's question.
Well, actually, my question was also related to the global nature of the security threat. But I think that has already been answered. So, for a change, I withdraw.
Thank you. This is so exceptional of you. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, in that case, I think I want to thank the participants to the timetable for their time, and I invite you all, of course, to our drink, which will start in a few minutes. We're almost there. Just to some concluding remarks. First of all, Benny will explain a little bit more about the website once more, final call, which will include a way to discuss further what we heard today. So, Benny,
As we said a couple of times before, the idea is that this is a community website. And so we will keep this website on at least for 1 year. But a community will only survive if we have, let's say, between 5 and 10 really very active members. We have really key persons that will go nearly on a daily basis, or at least a couple of times a week on the website and give information and coordinate in some subdomains, some actions. So basically, this is a call for the people here. If you feel like this is a subdomain, this is my subdomain, I want to have a small sub-community here, please step forward. You can do it on the website and say, okay, I start, let's say, a discussion group around there, or I want to have a depository of documents around there, or I want to do where I can have a list of references with comments or a list of links with comments, we can build new functionalities in this server that we can use it in the best way to really form a community. I'm not going to show you much more. I think you have to go there and make yourself a user ID. We will keep this website very open, at least in the first phase. We are trying to build a community, so there's no way that we will ask money to access the information or things like that. Just make yourself a user ID.
You told our secret to everybody, you know.
That's about the community.
Okay, Alexis.
Since you are talking about a community, I would just wanted to give you one more information that could be relevant for what you are doing. Now, Euro is organized in, let's say, a bidimensional grid. There are the national societies and there are the Euro working groups. Now, national societies are organized on a national basis. There are the Dutch, the Belgians, the Greeks, the Italians, etc. But Euro working groups are subject-oriented. There is a working group on bank and finance. There is a working group on environment. There is a working group on combinatorial optimization, on project management and scheduling, etc., etc., etc. There is no, let's say, limit in proposing a subject of an Euro working group. And since what you are doing is, let's say, for a large part dedicated to decision theory, you could propose yourself as an Euro working group. Now, what's the benefit of being an Euro working group? No? Well, there is some support on being a Euro working group. For instance, you can, when you organize your annual meetings, you can get some support for invite your PhD students or colleagues coming from weak currency countries, or some very important scholar that has to give a plain lecture. We don't have big amounts of money. We have small amounts of money that we can use to this type of activities. You can get some support for your bulletin, for instance, or for your website. Euro working groups, there is 40,000 euros annually spent for the Euro working groups, and well, you could qualify with your activities to use some of this money. There are, if you go on the website, you can see the list of the Euro working groups. There are 26 up this moment. They are regularly evaluated. So from time to time, there are working groups that they are not anymore active, and they are, but there are new ones that appear. So keep in mind whether you think that your community could also be an Euro working group.
Thank you, Alexis. That's very interesting. I think we will open that discussion on the community side, and we will give our feedback to you.
Yeah. So our idea was that maybe in the coming months we should have discussions on this community side of how we will more formally organize a community. But for the time being, it can just be very informal. I think there were about 100 registrations to the workshop. There were over 80 people here. There were lots of people missing, I think, and even subgroups, domains of people we would like to have here that were not coming because it's the first workshop and it's not completely clear how they can benefit. I'm thinking about the people really working in emergencies. There were very few fields or even emergency management people here. More general management from authorities or companies could benefit from a lot of the information here, but we didn't really set up a campaign to make it clear for them that they can benefit from this kind of information. So I think the community can be much bigger and more balanced than what we have now. Well, I think for the first workshop, it's already a very big one.
I agree on this one. So maybe we can almost finish this off. Ilko, you're too late. You missed your opportunity. No, unless it's of this importance.
Well, I just wanted to say something because I spoke with Einar Björlo, who just left. I brought him outside because he and I are involved with the Atisari group initiative. But Atisari has also been involved in the security proposal. And he and I discussed this. And one of the ideas, also because the United States was mentioned here, is that both from Iscram, from the Iscram community, from this group, as well as from the ITCM Atisari group, that a study tour would be put together in November of the number of people who would go as a European delegation to the United States on the study tour that would include the annual conference of the International Association of Emergency Management.
Yeah, they have
people want. We will also put, of course, on the website, but I just wanted to announce it. If somebody is really interested in it, then
yeah. I think this brings us a little bit to the last topic. What's next? Are we planning new activities? We didn't make decisions about this, but yeah, very clearly there's a big demand to have some kind of new conference or workshop, and we were discussing to have in about the same time frame next year a new initiative. We will discuss it further on the community server in order to find the right timing and the right method to do it.
But we felt absolutely compelled to organizing an Iscram 2005. So you will certainly be welcome and invited to that event as well. So I have the pleasure to call this workshop to a close. I thank you, all of you, for being here. It was a great 2 days, and I will only invite you to our drink, which is here outside the door. Thank you very much, and have all a safe trip back.